Hello everyone and welcome back to DC Central, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down and discussing and reviewing Stargirl Season 1 Episode 1, otherwise entitled Stargirl, otherwise known as the series premiere for Stargirl, the latest DC series to debut on the DC Universe streaming service and also on the CW, so let's discuss. So Stargirl has been a long time coming. I mean, this show was announced initially with the DC Universe. It was going to debut along the side of Titans and also Doom Patrol, obviously with that original slate. But things have changed, and DC Universe has kind of fallen by the wayside, as obviously we've seen Doom Patrol go to HBO Max, we've seen Swamp Thing get cancelled before they even finished filming the first season, and even Swamp Thing is coming to the CW at the end of the year. And now we have Stargirl, which is not only debuting on the DC Universe, but will debut a day later on the CW. So this has been a bit of an interesting journey to get to this show, but here it is now, and the trailers haven't super impressed me for Stargirl. Like, I haven't been super hyped for it. I've been looking forward to it for sure, but not overly hyped for it, anything like that. But coming out of this first episode, which also I apologise for this review being a few days late, I've only just got around to watching this, but coming out of this first episode, I actually am completely on board with this show. So the opening scene of this episode is really awesome, because it's just like comic book nerdgasms all over the shop, because we have the Injustice Society storming the Justice Society of America and just taking them all out. Like, this was insane. So we basically get introduced to at least some of the members of the Injustice Society, and then also some of the members of the JSA. So in the Injustice gang here, we see Solomon Grundy, we see the Wizard, we see Brainwave, we see Tigress, Icicle, and also the Sports Master. They're the ones we see from the Injustice Society, and they basically storm the base of the JSA to take them out. And this is where we get also introduced to some members of the JSA. Of course, we get introduced to Starman, of course, which is kind of the whole kicking off point for this whole thing. We also get to see Hourman, we also get to see Dr. Midnight, and also Wildcat. So we get to see, again, some members of the JSA there who, as the show goes on and we might get more flashbacks and things like that, we might see more members of the Injustice Society and also more members of the JSA, but as of right now, that's who we get introduced to. And it's really cool just to see that, because it's just, it establishes that this world has a lot of history and it has a lot of deep connections to the DC Universe, which I really, really appreciate. And we also get introduced to Pat Dugan here as well, who is, of course, going to be a big character in this. I'll get onto him later. But this was just a really awesome scene, filled with a lot of Easter eggs. We also get to see, like, Jay Garrick's helmet on the floor and stuff like that. We don't see Jay Garrick, but we do get to see his helmet sort of lying on the floor, which is really cool, because, again, it just kind of shows that Jay Garrick is a part of this, which is really nice. So this opening scene was a lot of fun, and again, just had a lot of DC Universe Easter eggs throughout, and just really hint at the history of this world and the richness of it. So moving over to our hero for this show, we have Breck Basinger playing Courtney Whitmore, aka Stargirl. And I think she is really great casting for this role, because she very much feels youthful. Now, Breck Basinger is only 21, but she is supposed to be playing, I believe, a 15-year-old in this, or 16-year-old, and she feels like that. Like, she feels young, she feels very youthful, and very vulnerable, and I think it works very well for this character. And also, what I really enjoyed about her particular portrayal of this character is that once she actually starts to get to grips with her powers and also with the cosmic staff and things like that, we actually see her, doing some training and stuff like that with it in this episode. She really embraces the fun of it, and I really like that, because that's something that I think the Arrowverse has kind of been missing recently. It's kind of like these superheroes who enjoy the fun of having the power. Like, Grant Gustin played like that initially in Season 1 of The Flash, but that's kind of ebbed away, which I have actually said recently I like that it's gone in that direction. But with this particular, new character, I like the fact that she's so young that this is all really fun and really exciting for her, and especially because she obviously hasn't had to deal with any big threats yet, so it's really cool just to see her really have fun with this. And I like the development they do with her character in this as well. We find out that she's like a gymnast and she wants to join the gymnastics club and stuff like that, which really pairs well with the cosmic staff, with all the moves she does, the flips and kicks and stuff like that. It just pairs itself really well, so I'm really enjoying her portrayal of the character so far. I think she was great casting. And the other character who stood out to me as well was Luke Wilson as Pat Dugan. So Luke Wilson is, of course, Owen Wilson's brother, and he plays Pat Dugan, and he was Stripesy. He was the sidekick to Starman, and was also technically a part of the JSA. Now, this is really cool, because I think his character, like, you see him, he's kind of, he's the sort of stepdad for Courtney's character, and you see that relationship kind of getting forced in this. Not forced in the way that it's bad, I mean forced in that, you know, they're forcing these characters together to try and build their bond, which is, you know, a typical writing technique for something like this. But I really enjoy their relationship so far, and also his portrayal. Like, he is someone who, while he does have all this history that people don't know about, he is still trying really hard to be a father, not only for his own kid, but also for Courtney as well, and to be a good husband. I think that's a really nice way to play this character, and again, the way that Courtney starts to slowly unveil his history and starts to find out about him, what he did with the JSA, how he interacted with Starman and stuff like that, finding out about him being Stripesy. It's just like, it adds a lot of history to him as well, and kind of makes him a lot more interesting, because a character like this could easily become a joke and could easily become annoying, like the sort of overbearing stepdad character. But given the fact this is also Stripesy, it makes it so much better. So I'm really enjoying Luke Wilson as well. And the final character I kind of want to talk about, who's not technically a character, but kind of is the Cosmic Staff. The Cosmic Staff is really great in this. This isn't what I thought at all. The Cosmic Staff is basically Aladdin's carpet, or Doctor Strange's cape. Like, it's a thing that's it's an inanimate object, but it has like a personality of its own, and can kind of think for itself, and can kind of, you know, have a personality and things like that. And the way it kind of moves, even though it doesn't say any words, you know, its actions say 1,000 words, you know, it's that sort of thing. And it interacts really funnily, funnily? That's not a word. It acts in a really funny way. It allows, you know, the characters to kind of almost have conversations with it. I like the fact that, you know, Pat Dugan kind of knows that it's temperamental. He tries to control it, but he's also very confused by the fact that obviously it goes straight to Courtney and is able to, you know, mesh with her extremely well. So again, it's going to be fun to see this character, if you will, kind of change and develop, and how there's going to be, you know, I'm sure there's going to be many funny situations with this staff and stuff like that. So I enjoyed how they played the staff, because it could have easily just been a weapon and that was that, but they've actually added like personality to it, which I didn't expect at all, and it just adds a lot more levity to it. And one thing I want to talk about, and I don't know much about Stargirl or, you know, the history with the character in the comics or even the JSA, but I think when you go into the high school bit of this and you see that losers table, I have a feeling that this is maybe them setting up like this new version of the Justice Society. Like, obviously the JSA are basically all dead as far as we can see, and now we have a new version of Starman, which obviously is now Stargirl. I think that these characters are going to be recurring throughout the series. We're going to see Courtney build a rapport with them. Like, maybe every episode we'll have like a lunch scene where they go and they all sit there and stuff like that. Because we get to see like some other characters in this here. We get introduced to like Yvette Monreal as Yolanda Montez, and Angelica Washington as Beth Chappelle. So we get like introduced to these other characters who seem to be bigger players going on. And I'm excited to see Yvette Monreal as well, because she was really good in the Purge series, so I'm excited to see her in this. But I have a feeling that these characters who are introduced on this sort of losers table are going to perhaps develop into the new JSA. Again, I have no evidence of this. This is just purely a theory. This is pure speculation. But I feel like these characters could actually develop into something, which, if that's where they're going with this, if that's the direction, I think that's really exciting. I think that's a really cool idea, to develop like this new version of the JSA to take on the Injustice Society, who are still out there and still in the world. And the ending scene for this is really cool as well, because we get to see Courtney go out there to take on Brainwave, who we still see is out and about in this, along with also So overall, I actually really enjoyed this premiere of Stargirl. Again, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I was excited about it, but I wasn't like super hyped for it. But this really impressed me, especially because what I really liked about it and what I didn't expect at all is how deep into the lore this goes. I didn't think it was going to be this way. Like, I thought that the show was going to lean on the JSA, because obviously, you know, it's kind of the next generation of Starman who is a part of the JSA, but I didn't think it was going to be like really delving into the JSA, where we get to see their history, we get to see who they were, we get to see the members and stuff like that. And also, what I didn't know at all, I didn't know who the villain was of this show. I didn't know, you know, I haven't really been following the Stargirl news, so I'm kind of fresh into this. So I had no idea that, like, the Injustice gang were, like, the villains. I didn't know that. But that's really exciting. And again, it's just more DC lore that it's sort of just delving into, which is really interesting for us fans. So I think that this show has honestly had a really good start. I think this season could be a really strong one, and I think it's going to be really exciting to see how this sort of develops and changes as the episodes go by. So with all that said, I'm going to give Stargirl an 8 out of 10. I think this is a really strong, convincing premiere, and it definitely got me on board for this show going forward. But what did you guys think about this episode? Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Were you a fan of this premiere, or did it not really do it for you? Whatever you think, let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, if you want to see more Stargirl content and also more DC TV and Arrowverse content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. And hope to see you guys again in my next video.